Welcome, college hoops fans, to the 2K Sports Season Preview Show. We're glad to have you along for what's sure to be another outstanding season of college hoops action. I'm Greg Gumbel, and with me at the anchor desk, my partner, Clark Kellogg. We're ready to give you a look ahead to all the ups and downs of the upcoming season, so let's get the ball rolling with the best teams in the nation in the very first Top 25 poll of the season. Here are the Big Five, the top teams in the country as we begin the season. The Oregon Ducks come in as the #1 ranked team, followed by Wisconsin, Virginia, Georgia Tech, and Oregon State. What do you think of the top 5 teams going into the year, Clark?
Sometimes the top players in the nation and the best teams in the nation aren't necessarily together at the top of the poll. But going into this season, we have some of the absolute best players playing on the marquee teams. That's really exciting to me, Greg.
The Oregon Ducks are projected as the favorites here in the early going. One bit of good news for them, they have last season's leading rebounder coming back for another year.
With that low post presence already established, they'll have a little bit of swagger heading into the season. I look for them to be sharp right from the start.
Wisconsin is in the #2 spot. They bring back 4 starters, and that should pay huge dividends for them this year.
After their Final Four run last March, and with many key players coming back, their confidence has to be sky high. I expect big things from them this season.
Virginia comes in as #3. They've got a whole. Georgia Tech starts the year as the 4th. Oregon State. Here's the next group of teams in our preseason top 25. What's your impression of that set of teams?
We've seen plenty of future national champions come out of this group from the middle of the top 25. I'm not willing to say just yet whether that is going to happen.
The Horned Frogs of TCU, the #8 team, have been talked about quite a bit as we head into the season. They're playing in one of the toughest conferences in the nation. How should that affect them, Clark?
They're ranked highly now, but they're going to have to play a lot of tough games in that conference. And if they're not consistently playing at a high level, we could see them slip a bit.
The Syracuse Welcome to the 2K Sports Studios. I'm Greg Gumbel, along with my partner Clark Kellogg. Coming up on College Hoops Tonight, brought to you by State Farm, the #1 auto insurer. We'll unveil our choices for the top 10 mid-major teams in the NCAA, as well as show you the best action from around the nation. But we begin with a special player who was an easy choice as our player of the week in college basketball.
Harrison is a favorite to win this award every week, Greg, and he gets it this week. If there's anyone who doesn't consider him one of the best players in the country, just take a look at his last few performances.
No argument here. He was red hot with a total of 59 points. Whenever he got it in his mind that he was going to get a bucket, chances are he got it. You can see in these highlights what determination he had at the offensive end. His opponents were physically and mentally tapped out after having to defend against him for 2 halves. Now let's unveil our list of the top 10 mid-major teams in college hoops. These teams could probably hold their own in any of the power conferences if they had the chance.
Top to bottom, they're certainly not as strong as the list of the top 10 major conference teams, but 1 or 2 of them have just as much talent as any of those teams, especially the team in the top spot.
Loyola Marymount is a team that I'm not sure should even be included on this list because the schedule they've played could have put them in the toughest conference in the country. When you're a mid-major team, yet play that kind of schedule and still have a decent record, that says an awful lot. There was no shortage of excitement on the court in the past few days, so let's take a look at our games of the week. We had a pair of top 25 teams in an old-fashioned grudge match. Arizona defeated Oregon State.
The pollsters love games like this. It makes their job easy. When you've got 2 ranked teams like this going up against each other, you can just sit back and see who should go up and who should move down. Arizona played some absolutely stifling defense. They made the guys on the other side work for every basket, and you can see that reflected in the shooting percentage. They never let up on the defensive end. That really took the pressure off the offense and allowed them to dictate the tempo of the game. To me, that was the biggest factor.
Also on our list of games of the week is a conference face-off in the Big Ten. Indiana overpowered Michigan State.
The Indiana Hoosiers made the most of their opportunity to move up, and that's going to serve them very well as we get closer to conference tournament time, even if it's just in seeding position. Wingate had the hot hand on the winning side. His 14 points led the team. Watching him basically put his teammates on his back and single-handedly carry them to the victory in a big game situation like this was stupendous.
That'll do it for us here in the studio. For my partner, Clark Kellogg, I'm Greg Gumbel. Thanks for watching College Hoops Tonight, brought to you by State Farm, the #1 auto insurer. Enjoy the exciting week of college hoops action to come. Welcome, everyone. I'm Greg Gumbel here with my partner, Clark Kellogg. Just ahead on College Hoops Tonight, brought to you by State Farm, the #1 auto insurer. We'll preview some of the biggest games coming up this week in the NCAA, as well as show you the best action from around the nation. But we begin with a special player who was an easy choice as our Player of the Week in college basketball.
Emerson is a favorite to win this award every week, Greg, and he gets it this week. If there is anyone who doesn't consider him one of the best players in the country, just take a look at his last few performances.
It was a magical week for him, Clark, no doubt about it. The fans really got behind him as the points kept piling up, and you could see him feed off their energy. He's a cult hero to those people now, and if he has a few more weeks like this one, he'll be one of the all-time legends at that university. Now let's take a look ahead to the games that get top billing on the schedule in the days to come. This should be a terrific matchup. Both these teams are fighting to improve their position among the nation's elite teams, and they're going to have to go through each other to do it.
Indiana should come out on top if I had to make a prediction. Their backcourt is so solid this year, and their guards love to get out and run. That gives them a huge advantage in a game that should be as fast-paced as this one will be.
And there's another game on the agenda that's too juicy to ignore. We've come to the time of year when the conference pictures are really starting to come into focus. And this game is a crucial grudge match between a pair of the best teams in the Pac-10.
Stanford plays a brand of defense that should make the difference in this game. They are a tough team to score against. And if you don't squeeze the orange, they'll take it. I think they'll be in top form for this contest.
Now, let's turn our attention to some of the action of the past week in the NCAA with our Games of the Week. We had a pair of top 25 teams in an old-fashioned grudge match. Oregon State knocked off Washington State.
The score might not have been close, but I don't think that's an indicator of how similar these teams are talent-wise. It was just a matter of one side having an off night at the worst possible time. Oregon State played some absolutely stifling defense. They made the guys on the other side work for every basket, and you can see that reflected in the shooting percentage. They never let up on the defensive end. That really took the pressure off the offense and allowed them to dictate the tempo of the game. To me, that was the biggest factor.
Also on our list of games of the week is a conference face-off in the Big Ten. Northwestern defeated Wisconsin.
Both of these teams are jostling for position at this point in the season. We're in that critical part of the year when everybody's trying to get hot before the postseason. Momentum is everything right now. Schultz had the hot hand on the winning side. His 13 points led the team. Watching him basically put his teammates on his back and single-handedly carry them to the victory in a big game situation like this was stupendous.
That's our show, everyone. For all It is an annual rite of spring, bringing with it excitement and emotion that can be found in no other sporting event. The NCAA Tournament. Your wait is finally over, the brackets are ready, and the drama of March Madness is about to begin. Hello, everyone. I'm Greg Gumbel, and this is the NCAA Championship Basketball Selection Show, brought to you by State Farm, the #1 auto insurer. Joining me at the anchor desk, as always, my partner, Clark Kellogg. We're all set to show you the seedings and pairings, so get out your bracket sheet, get those pencils ready. Here are the basics. Of the 65 available tournament bids, 31 are automatically given to conference champions. The tournament committee hands out the remaining 34 bids on an at-large basis. An opening round game will take place on Tuesday night to narrow the field to 64 teams. But before we unveil the brackets for this season, here's a look at the final top 25 media poll of the season. There's one big change you'll notice in the rankings. A new team has made the top 25 this week. The Kansas State Wildcats break into the poll as the number 21 team. The media rankings are what everyone's been following for the last 4 months. But in just a minute, the selection committee's opinion is going to be the only one that matters. Now let's take a look at the NCAA tournament bubble and see which teams are sitting at home with their fingers crossed, hoping to see their name in the brackets. There are a lot of worthy candidates among these 10 teams, Clark. Which of these bubble teams stands out to you right now?
George Washington did just enough to get on the bubble, but I'm not sure they did enough to get off the bubble. There may have been a few too many bumps in the road for them.
You got that right. And who else might be in the same position?
Texas could have sealed their invitation with a better regular season finish. But the fact is they play in a very tough conference, and that does weigh heavily in their favor.
I'm sure it's been a long week for those teams, but the wait's almost over. The NCAA Selection Committee has finished its meeting, and we're ready to unveil the top 4 seeds in this year's tournament. The Penn State Nittany Lions are the top overall seed, and they will play in the East Regional. They begin the tournament as the dominant team on to the second #1 seed, the Providence Friars. And finally, our 4th #1 seed will play in the Phoenix Regional. The Horned Frogs of TCU are in the tournament field as a #1 seed for the 6th time in the history of their program. Now, here's how the brackets shape up based on where the #1 seeds have been assigned. In one national semifinal game, the winner of the East Regional will play the winner of the South Regional. In the other semifinal game, the winner of the Midwest Regional will play the winner of the Phoenix Regional. Those games will be played on Saturday, April the 2nd. Then it'll be on to the national championship game on Monday night, April the 4th. Any surprises in there for you, Clark?
Well, when you see the selection committee deviate from the top 4 teams in the media poll, it's a little surprising. They've opened themselves up to some criticism with these picks.
So, with the #1 seeds out of the way, it's finally time to tackle the rest of the brackets. First up, we take a look at the East Regional. The Penn State Nittany Lions are the top seed, finishing at 30-5. They won both the regular season and conference tournament titles in the Big Ten. They will take on the winner of the opening round play-in. And now, Arkansas. Stanford comes in as the #5 seed, finishing at 23. Next up is the #2 seed, the Indiana Hoosiers. Our #7 seed is from the A-10 Conference. The St. Bonaventure Bonnies were rewarded for their outstanding play this season with an at-large bid and a ticket to the big dance. They are going to play the #10 seed, the Cleveland State Vikings, who were semifinalists in their conference tournament, finishing at 23-8. Notre Dame comes in as the #3. The Maryland Terrapins are in as the #6 seed. What a tremendous regional. Next up, we'll take a look at the South Regional. The Oregon State Beavers are the top seed, finishing at 26-5. They won both the regular season and conference tournament titles in the Pac-10. They'll take on the Florida State Seminoles, the #16 ranked team. This marks their 28th appearance all-time in the NCAA tournament. Auburn comes in as the #8 seed, finishing at 19-10. Baylor comes in to face them at #9 with 20 wins and a chance to make believers out of any doubt. Richmond comes in. Loyola, our #2 seed, is from the Big. Next up is the #7, the Wake Forest. And now on to our third bracket of the day. There are going to be some incredible matchups. And finally, let's have a look at the Phoenix Regional. The Horned Frogs of TCU are the top seed, finishing at 25-7. They won both the regular season and conference tournament titles in the Mountain West Conference. They'll take on the Southern Jaguars, the number 16 ranked team. This will be their 11th appearance. Next up is the number 8 seed. The California Golden Bears have established themselves as one of the best teams from the Pac-10. LSU comes in as Miami comes in as the number 5 seed, finishing at West Virginia enters the field as the number 2 seed. And now the number 7 seed. The Wyoming Cowboys come into the tournament after finishing second. The Oregon Ducks are in as the number 3 seed. They'll be taking on our number 6 seed is from the Big 12. On the surface, I'd have to say this regional might be the most difficult of the 4. What are your thoughts on our top 16 seeds, Clark?
Maybe I haven't agreed with the selection committee every year, but I think they did a great job this time. The top 16 looked just about right to me. Penn State is going to be an extremely difficult matchup for any and all of their opponents.
Now, let's bring the conference picture into focus. The Pac-10 gets 6 teams. The ACC with 6, 5 out of the Big 10. The Big East gets 5 teams.
What a down year for the non-power.
Here's the list of the teams that were on the bubble heading into Selection Sunday. So, partner, which of those invitees should be sending the selection committee a thank you card?
Northern Illinois had a terrific finish to the season, and I'm sure.
All right, Clark. Now